The grid has been corrected. It is the top 8 that's reversed because Bradley Smith and Stuart Oliver are on the front row. The grid sheet was incorrect, I was right. I thought it was a bit strange. Yes, they've just amended it. They'd mistakenly reversed only the top 6 on the grid sheet. Brad Smith, meanwhile, number 16, is on the front of the Division 2 pack, ahead of Craig Evans, number 10. Then number 32, Jock Borthwick. 42, Luke Garrett, yes, he's there. John Powell is there, number 6. 14 of John Bowler. And Adam Bint, hoping to get a finish this time, starts at the back. They're all present and correct, ready for a 15-minute race. Making it even more tough for Ryan Smith and David Jenkins. They've got to come through from row number 4. It's Bradley Smith on pole, Stuart Oliver alongside, ready for race number 4 of the season opening weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Brad Smith at the front of Division 2. First time ever I've known 2 drivers of the same name being on pole in the same race. There's not many championships where you can say that. Bradley Smith then leads them up towards the lights. The Scania Pace truck has pulled off. What's going to happen this time? Let's find out as the power comes on and we go truck racing here at Brands Hatch down towards the first corner at Paddock Hill Bend. It's a good start from Stuart Oliver. He leads the way in the repaired number 7 after his collision with John Newell in the race earlier on. He leads down Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Oh, there's contact. Stephen Powell into the gravel. Mark Taylor's gone off with him. That could be the end of race for those two. Through the dust come the Division 2s. Brad Smith at the front. We've got Tom O'Rourke on the grass on the inside of Druids. Ran out of room there trying to tackle David Jenkins and number 12 Michael Oliver in the ex-Martin Gibson truck. Martin Gibson taking a year out of truck racing this year, concentrating on racing elsewhere. Let's see what happened there. There's the tangle. Mark Taylor and Stephen Powell. And the local man goes axle deep into the gravel. Mark Taylor in as well. I don't think they're going to get out from there. Race continuing on for the moment, but I think we may have red flags as a result of that. Yes, the race has been stopped. 2 trucks in the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. In the interest of safety, the race has been stopped. There's the reason. Poor old Steve Powell. It's been a tough debut in Division 1 for him. Been battered from pillar to post. Already had some damage from yesterday's first race. Mark Taylor in there as well. And the heavy recovery vehicles are going to be needed to be brought in there. So no laps completed, so it should be a rerun over the full distance. Mark Taylor caught up. He's had an incident-packed day. He spun in the first race of the day earlier on and ended up 10th. Steve Powell finding the graduation to Division 1 rather tough. The Dines Recovery and HGV Direct MAN. Recovery vehicle in attendance. Let's take a look at that again. Yep, there's the tangle. Mark Taylor into the side of Stephen Powell. Great cloud of dust as they go into the gravel, and they're not going to get out from there. The gravel arresting the progress of the 2 trucks. You can see how deeply up to the axles that the number 3 is buried. And the Neil Yates Recovery and LJ Transportation vehicles in attendance, thanks to our recovery crews. It will be a rerun over the full 15-minute duration for our second truck race of the day once the hazard has been cleared. The other truck's back to the grid. Now, the second row you can see is missing. Those are the 2 trucks that have gone off. Everybody else is still there okay. Good to see that John Newell's repaired the number 18 MAN after his collision with Stuart Oliver earlier on. Somebody was asking in the comments over the lunch break, what does MAN stand for? In German, it means Maschinenfabrik Augsburg-Nürnberg. Machine manufacturers of Augsburg and Nuremberg, I presume that means. Makers of trucks and buses. And some smaller vans these days as well. Plenty of commercial vehicles on display in the paddock for the fans to have a look at. We've got some very nice show trucks here, including an American Kenworth I spotted yesterday. But monster truck rides as well. The Red Dragon ride monster truck. I did take a ride in that vehicle myself at another event several years ago. Certainly as good as any roller coaster. Plenty of attractions for all the family here at Brands Hatch. These truck events, very much family events. Plenty of young fans looking to get up and close to their heroes in the truck racing as well. And now they get to see how a truck is recovered after an incident. We have had the truck racing festivals in the past demonstrations by breakdown firms of how a crashed truck is recovered when you're out on the motorway and so on. How to recover an overturned lorry. Thankfully no overturning there from Stephen Powell and Mark Taylor. Fans will wait patiently for the race to get back underway when the trucks are cleared. You can see some of the show trucks in the background there on display. See the course cars in attendance as well. The driver's perfectly okay. Mark Taylor in the number 81, the man from Sutton in Ashfield. This is how the grid will form up. The second row currently missing, but hopefully we will see those two trucks. If they can get them back out, they may start from the pits. So no Mark Taylor and Stephen Powell on the grid sheet. It's Bradley Smith and Stuart Oliver at the front. Row 3, Simon Reed. Good to see him back racing this year in the Iveco after a year or two away. Younger brother Craig further back. The reigning Division 2 champion. John Newell on the third row. Row 4 is the big two in the championship, Ryan Smith and David Jenkins. Jenks, a former champion, looking to end the run of Ryan Smith's successes this year. They're big rivals, those two. Tom O'Rourke on the fifth row. Alongside him we should see the name of Michael Oliver. It's not appearing on our grid graphics as he missed qualifying yesterday. Didn't manage to set a lap in the ex-Martin Gibson truck. Simon Faulkner, Craig Reed and Ricky Collett round out Division 1. Ricky Collett, as we saw during the lunch break, went out in race 2 yesterday with engine trouble. Then Division 2, lining up with the finishers reversed. Brad Smith on pole, alongside Craig Evans. Jock Borthwick, the Scot, he came close to a win in race 1 yesterday, but he spun at Druids while leading the class. John Powell was the double winner in Division 2 yesterday. In the number 6, we had a quiet race 1 today, third race of the weekend. Only finished 4th in class. Luke Garrett was the winner on that occasion. It's great to have Luke back, one of several returnees this year. He was racing on the continent in the European Truck Racing Championship last year. Ryan Smith's done a few European rounds in his time as well. Ah, there's our monster truck, the Red Dragon. Based on a Ford F-150 pickup, looks like the body shape is. Do you dare ride the Red Dragon? Some passengers just getting out of the back there. It certainly is an experience, I can tell you, especially when it rides over cars to flatten them. The Red Dragons appeared at a whole variety of motorsport events over the years, based up in the Midlands. There's passengers, young and old, climbing aboard. Ah, Mark Taylor's got his MAN out of the gravel with a little bit of assistance from the tow vehicle. It looks like he's going to be able to move that away under its own power. It's a bit battered from the contact. Look at the left side there, the bodywork damaged. He's pulling it over. Let's wait to see whether that truck can take the restarts. Ah, he's not pulling it over, he's driving up the grass to shake out all the gravel from underneath it. That's a good move by Mark Taylor. Saves the marshals a clear-up job. You can see all the gravel and other rubbish coming out from underneath it there. Good move, Mark Taylor, keeping the circuit tidy. Got a state of that. Battered and bruised, but still going. It takes a lot to stop these trucks. He'll go back into the pit lane to have his team check the truck over. the Taylor's truck sport team. Mark Taylor, whose haulage company started out as a sponsor of Ryan Smith before Mark decided to go racing for himself. Same with Tom O'Rourke, MAN number 86. He'd never been to a truck race meeting in his life until he started sponsoring the sport through his business MV Commercial. Went to an event at Donington, had a look over it, became a sponsor and said, I'm going to have a go at that. And now he's out there with them. Red Dragon is on the move. Now we can see what this monster truck can do. Nice to see that as our pace truck, wouldn't it? Is he going to go over any of those cars? He's already flattened them once. It's getting the passengers warmed up in there. See how it leans over on its suspension as he turns it. It leans a lot more than it looks there as well. Just getting warmed up. There he goes, over what was a Ford Puma once. Look at the state of that. I assume they get the cars from scrapyards and bring them here. They're not driving around the spectator car park, don't worry. Have to be careful if this thing's ever on at Brands Hatch. I park somewhere near there at meetings when I'm in attendance on commentary duties. Luckily my car's well out the way today. Say a quick hello to Paul Clark, one of the hospitality officials at Brands Hatch. He's enjoying our action during this short break, entertaining his guests as well. Stephen Powell not being as considerate towards the marshals as Mark Taylor was, spraying gravel all over Druids Bend. And there are the Orange family. One of them's got a souvenir there from Mark Taylor's truckman. Look how deep it went into the gravel. You can see the tyre tracks there. So a bit of sweeping up to do. It'll be a few more minutes before this race gets back underway. Thanks for your patience, viewers, while the Orange family do their stuff at Paddock Bend to clear up the circuit. And the recovery teams as well. Neil Yates Recovery's big Mercedes recovery tractor just making its way off there. Now there is Mark Taylor. We've had an update on the timing screen. It will be a 12-minute race, so with the delay, it will be a slightly shortened race. The Taylor team frantically working away there. Nice to see so many race vehicles this weekend carrying the flag of Ukraine as well. And there's Stephen Powell's team. You can see the name on the front, the Portobello Inn. That's the Powell family's pub, just along the road from Brands Hatch. So a load of gravel you can see there being dug out from underneath. The course car just making an inspection, so we should hopefully be back underway shortly. Whether Mark Taylor and Stephen Powell are going to join in from the pit lane, we'll have to see if their trucks are given the all clear. Mark Taylor's going to join in what's left of the 81. He's at the end of the pit lane ready to go. Re monster truck rides. One of our YouTube commenters, Rose, says, I did a monster truck ride at the NASCAR race at Dover once. Never again. Riding a monster truck isn't bad, but not when you're sitting sideways. And you sit sideways in the Red Dragon as well. Love to see it used as our pace truck. Scania there. So Bradley Smith on pole in the 46. I can't remember any other race where there's been two divisions and a driver with the same name is on pole in both of them, because we've got Brad Smith further back there. I bet that's never happened in motorsport before. Two drivers with the same name on pole position in the same race. Unless it was two drivers, for example, father and son with the same first name sharing a car, perhaps. I suppose you could argue that is the same sort of thing. And certainly not in different vehicles in the same race. Anyway, that's one for the statisticians to sort out. And we're back rolling once again. This will be a 12-minute restart for the British Truck Racing Championship Race 4 here at Brands Hatch. Mark Taylor is going to join in, I would imagine, once the race goes green. Stephen Powell, I'm not so sure about. They're still working on the number 3. Simon Faulkner alongside one of the Reeds. Now, Pointy said you can tell the Reed Ivecos apart by their wing mirrors, didn't he? One of them's got red wing mirrors and one's got white ones. I can't remember which is which. Anyway, we'll have a look as they come through the Cooper Straights behind the pace truck. There we are. Simon's got white wing mirrors and Craig's are red. Ready for the restart of race 4 of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Bradley Smith and Stuart Oliver leading the grid around. Ryan Smith and David Jenkins, the two to watch on row 4 of the grid. Well, it's become row 3 now because a couple of trucks in the pit lane after their tangle. Brad Smith and Craig Evans lead Division 2. John Powell looking for his 3rd win of the weekend. Luke Garrett for his 2nd. So it'll be a 12-minute race, reduced after the delay to clear up the incident. Pace truck is in pit lane, waiting for the red lights to come on. They go out, and here we go. Good start again by Stuart Oliver in the number 7 Volvo. Leads into the first corner ahead of Bradley Smith, Simon Reed and John Newell side by side for 3rd. Looks like they've all made it round Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Our Division 2 going to do the same. Brad Smith has got through. Yes, they've all made it round. Mark Taylor joining in at the back in the number 81. So far, everybody is through cleanly. Brad Smith leads Division 2 in the number 16. Good start by John Powell, side by side with Jock Borthwick. Not such a good start by Luke Garrett. And Simon Reed leaning on John Newell there, side by side through Graham Hill Bend for 3rd place. Stuart Oliver leads. Simon Reed forced wide onto the grass. Ryan Smith says, thanks very much, I'll go through on the inside. David Jenkins trying to follow him. Stuart Oliver leads in the Volvo. Simon Reed is leaned onto the curbs again, this time by David Jenkins. And Michael Oliver's off. Off he goes, and he's going to go into the tyre wall. Wallop straight in goes the number 12. Once you get onto the grass, it's a struggle to get it back, but he's bounced out of the tyre wall, and he's going to try and get going again. Yellow flag's out at Surtees. Division 2 will have to pass through before Michael Oliver can rejoin. He bounced off somebody, I didn't quite see who it was. But the race is continuing at the moment, with Stuart Oliver, Michael's father, in the lead. 2nd place is the number 46 of Bradley Smith, the young gun, we heard from him earlier. 3rd is John Newell, then Ryan Smith in 4th position. Here's a replay of that incident. It was as Simon Reed came back on, that forced Michael Oliver to go wide. He went onto the grass, no grip there, he couldn't steer out of it, bounced across the grass and walloped straight into the tyre wall. Great shame for Michael, and a bit more work for our marshals to do. Stuart Oliver leads them, pulling away from Bradley Smith, John Newell, Ryan Smith. 5th position is David Jenkins. So that incident was caused, it was a bit of a chain reaction because Simon Reed came back off the grass. He'd been forced wide by David Jenkins, and that saw Michael Oliver take avoiding action. He got onto the grass and slid into the tyre wall. Ryan Smith looking quick here in the number 1. I rather put the commentator's curse on Ryan Smith yesterday, didn't I? I said he might fall over a back marker on the final lap, and that's exactly what happened. Sorry, Ryan. Michael Oliver's been into the pits. Oh, Ryan Smith's hit the back of John Newell. What's happened there? Straight into the back of the 18, who spins around. Well, Ryan Smith lost a lot of his front bodywork there, look. I'm not sure what that was all about. He seemed to... Did he lose his brakes going into Druids there? That was bizarre. Try and see again what happened there, if we can. There's Michael Oliver. He's rejoined after going into the pits to check for damage. No sign of Stephen Powell joining the race either. Has that damaged the front suspension of number 1, Ryan Smith? He's got David Jenkins on his tail now. He may have damaged the steering as well. He's just feeling his way back in this. Let's see if we can see what happened. He went up the inside of John Newell. He locked up. He realised he wasn't going to make it, hit the back of the 18 and spun it around. That was just a bit of over-optimism by Ryan Smith, I think, there. Went for the inside on John Newell, realised too late that he wasn't going to make it, had to lock up. It's all playing into the hands of Stuart Oliver and his Volvo, repaired after his collision with John Newell in race 1. John Newell's been in the wars this weekend. Ryan Smith has managed to stay ahead of his arch-rival David Jenkins. Simon Reed behind them in the 89. Here's the fight in Division 2, being led by John Powell at the moment, I think. No, it's not, I apologise, it's Brad Smith. He's got out in front there, the cream-coloured truck of number 16. That's your Division 2 leader. Craig Reed having a go at Tom O'Rourke, rather. Struggling to keep up with this race. Plenty of chaos in the early stages. Fans are loving this. Here comes Ryan Smith having a go at Michael Oliver. Now Michael's a lap down. Should really let Ryan Smith go through there, and he does. Ryan still in 3rd place after that contact with John Newell. He's chasing after Bradley Smith, no relation, in 2nd place. A great weekend he has had so far. First podium earlier on today. Stuart Oliver leads by nearly 4 seconds in the Volvo, looking for his first win of the season. If things go his way and Ryan Smith gets bogged down battling everybody else, could it be title number 11 for Stuart Oliver? He hasn't had the best of starts to his day here at Brands this Easter Sunday with that tangle with John Newell earlier on. Ryan Smith chasing down Bradley Smith, his namesake. David Jenkins under pressure from Simon Reed. He's running well in the Iveco. Behind them, Tom O'Rourke is 6th, Craig Reed 7th, John Newell 8th, Ricky Collins is 9th. Then we've got the first of the Division 2s, Brad Smith leading John Powell and Jock 4th. Well, Stuart Oliver's pulling away as everybody else battles behind him. Are we going to see a first win of the season for the truck racing legend from the northeast of England? There's bits of Ryan Smith's bodywork all over the inside of Druids. Doesn't seem to have slowed the truck down, though. He's on the bumper of Bradley Smith here. Gave him a bit of a tap there coming down Graham Hill to let him know he's there, and Michael Oliver's off again. I wonder if there was some damage to that truck from the initial off. He's gone into the gravel at Druids, slid straight on there. David Jenkins under fire from Simon Reed, going well in the Iveco. That's for 4th position. But they're falling behind Stuart Oliver all the time. The gap was 4.5 seconds last time through, as here comes Ryan Smith. He's going to take Bradley Smith for 2nd place on the run out of Clark Kerr. They're side by side over the line. 300ths of a second apart as they cross the line. They're 5.5 seconds near enough now behind Stuart Oliver. Michael Oliver runs in. There's his dad Stuart going through in the background with the lead. Now Ryan Smith is going to put the hammer down and try to catch the other bonneted truck in the race. And the red flags are coming out again. The red flag is out again, a dangerous position for Michael Oliver's truck at Druids. So in the interests of safety, the race will be stopped. Now, 5 minutes 40 left on the clock. We'll wait and see what the officials are going to do here. It shouldn't take too long to recover Michael Oliver's truck. Stuck in the gravel at Druids. We're going to wait and see what the decision is here. Good to see Adam Bint still running in the number 5 there, just behind the remains of Bart Taylor's truck. Stephen Powell, incidentally, never emerged from the pits. He was a non-starter on the restart. There's Michael Oliver, surveying the damage to number 12. Something broke there, he says. But what was it? Caused me to go into the gravel. Must have been something damaged in the initial impact with the tyre wall a couple of laps ago and then sliding off. There's the other Team Oliver Racing truck, sponsored by GT Tyres, the tyre supplier to the series, and Kelsa Truck Products. Also sponsors of a couple of drivers in Formula One stock cars. Kelsa, Luke Davidson is one of their sponsors. It's one of his sponsors. Ryan Smith with a chunk bitten out of his Daimler. The Daimler Freightliner, as I've taken to calling it. Run by the Worldwide Truck Racing Team, a new name for the team this year. Check them out on social media. Michael Oliver walks disconsolately away, the man from Hexham in Northumberland. And the LJ Transportation recovery vehicle called upon again to drag the truck out of the gravel. Now the rest of the pack are waiting on the grid, so it looks like we are going to get a restart. They haven't been taken back to the paddock, so we will get a short restart to this race. And now we get another look at how to recover a beached race truck. Marshall's in attendance, just keeping an eye on things. It's the Neil Yates recovery truck that's going to be used. Big 4-axle Mercedes. Very impressive looking beasts, the recovery vehicles. I remember earlier this year on the M25 overtaking a couple of big American, I think they were Kenworth truck recovery vehicles, all lit up at night. Mightily impressive sight they were. It's the Mercedes doing the job here. We await news on what's going to happen with the restart to this race once the track is clear. No news on the timing screens at the moment. But it looks like we will get a restart. Trucks now on the move. Now, are they lining them up or are they going back to the paddock? Red flag still out. Now, are they being signalled back into the paddock? Wait to see if Stuart Oliver turns left. It looks like it. I think that's going to be result declared then. Well, that's a shame because we denied the chance of seeing whether Ryan Smith was going to catch Stuart Oliver. So if the result is declared at that point, we haven't had the checkered flag come up on the screen yet to signify end of race. If that's result declared, it will be a win for Stuart Oliver, and 3 different winners in Division 1 so far this weekend. We don't say that very often, given the dominance of Ryan Smith in recent years, but 2 wins for David Jenkins, 1 for Ryan Smith, and now 1 for Stuart Oliver, provisionally. We haven't had official confirmation yet if a result is going to be declared from that. But if it is, it's Stuart Oliver the winner, Bradley Smith in second, and Ryan Smith in third. Because Ryan was just about to try and take Bradley Smith when the red flag came out. David Jenkins will be fourth, ahead of Simon Reed. Then Tom O'Rourke, Craig Reed, John Newell, Ricky Collett and Brad Smith completing the top 10. Brad Smith will take the win in Division 2. So we've had 3 different winners from 4 races there as well. John Powell next ahead of Jock Borthwick and Simon Faulkner. Craig Evans, Adam Bint will finally get a finish if the result is declared there. He'll be relieved. Then Mark Taylor after joining from the pits. Luke Garrett and John Bowler. Okay, I think we can hand down to Pointy in Parc Ferme to give us a bit of a further update on that one.
Oh, yeah. That was a run. That was a run. So, let's just bring you all back up to speed. If you've been watching that race, wow, some serious incidents. Some that didn't cause red flags, two that did cause red flags. We had two offs with Mark Taylor going into the side of Stephen Powell in the first lap on Paddock Hill Bend. And then we also saw some tussling later on in the race. Stuart Oliver there. Ended up with Michael Oliver having some steering issues going off in the hairpin, and then I do believe Bart then reversed to the lap before's results, meaning that Bradley Smith has just taken a second place finish in front of reigning champion Ryan Smith in third, and Stuart Oliver takes the first. So if that result does stick, which I believe it's going to have to now, they're sending all the trucks down to Parc Ferme now, which means we're officially over. One more race left to do this afternoon, but let's see if we can go over and grab Stuart Oliver to see how he feels, because regardless of what happened there, ladies and gentlemen, he definitely got first place. The GT sponsored number 7 Bullnose Volvo. Let's see if we can get to the right door. This is when you have to know whether they're a left-hand drive or a right-hand drive, and I bet it's wrong. It is a left-hand drive. So I've only been doing this 12 years, it's fine, ladies and gentlemen. Stuart Oliver, perfect timing. So a bit of a result for you there, lots of clean air.
Yeah, I got away good start twice, and just made the most of it. I had a comfortable gap, so I just eased off a bit and just made sure we were going to get to the end, which unfortunately came a bit quicker than I wanted, but I wanted to get the gap as big as possible, and sure the old girl can still do it.
I mean, yeah, certainly, the old girl can still do it. Well,
I'm the old boy. I'm the old boy.
No, absolutely fantastic result. I mean, as I was saying to Bradley earlier on, it's not about starting at the front, it's about staying at the front, and that's a lot more difficult than some people think.
Absolutely, yes, it is, and especially you're ahead and you've got a lot of the water from the brakes, and sort of exhaust smoke even makes it slippy that's down on the track, so you're the one that's sort of at the head, you're setting the pace as it is, and you can easily make a mistake and go wrong.
Have you got any words of wisdom for the up and coming, by the looks of it, Bradley Smith, who I believe just finished in second place ahead of Ryan Smith?
I believe so, yeah, no, he's a good, clean, this is what the sport wants, and but more the merrier of them type, and he's a nice boy, a nice kid, so well, look, I'm sure he'll be on the next step up very quickly.
Fantastic. Thanks for talking to us, Stuart. Congratulations. Look forward to handing you a nice trophy shortly. Let's go and see if we can talk to some other drivers, because I'm sure tensions are high. Just to let everybody know, the reason that the races get cut short is because Bach obviously are in charge of the timetable. They know how long it's going to take to recover a truck from a dangerous area, which is why the race got red flagged in the first place. And then by the time they've got them back out, it would cause such a knock-on, unfortunately, that they do have to make the decision sometimes to call it where it is. Obviously, conditions are good today, and we should hopefully get one last good race out of these trucks later on in the afternoon. So it's all still to play for. So, right, so I can hear somebody mouthing at me. I can't say what's going on. Let's have a look at some more drivers now. Distracted me then, Keys, unbelievable. I need hand movements, not lip read. I can't. My brain can't function that quickly. Well, here's a couple of guys who are up to no good. Pan down. Well, what's going on? He's took his shoe up. What, you stubbed your toe, Brad? What's going on?
Stubbed it getting out.
You actually have?
No.
Injuries in the sport, ladies and gentlemen. How was that for you?
Yeah, great. Yeah. Done a few alterations.
Thoughts and feelings on the restart. Did that make much difference to you at the beginning of the first lap?
No, not really. I was in pole, so I was just...
I was at the front. Don't bother me.
Yeah, no, good race that was.
That's good,
Shame
that's
it was
good.
stopped.
Yeah. I mean, did you obviously, because you're in Division 2, front of the pack at the back? Did you see much action? Could you tell us, from your angle, what happened?
Got front row seats, and all.
Front row seats, yeah. So
Yeah,
who
brilliant.
did what? What happened?
Yeah, can't remember now.
Put him on the spot now, haven't I?
Went off on Druids, didn't it? So
Yes,
that's
yeah.
what stopped the race.
Yes. So yeah, off in a dangerous area, red flag out. Everybody a bit stressed out now. They got the race cut short.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Right, let's go and see what's good. Brad, thanks for talking to us. Let's go and find some more drivers. I can see Mark Taylor. We haven't spoken to Mark Taylor yet this weekend. Let's go and see how Mark is after his coming together with Steve Powell at the beginning of that race. Mark, have you got a minute? As we can see, there's a little bit of damage. It's only superficial. I'm sure they'll bend that back into shape before the next race. Mark, come on in. Mark Taylor, of course, Taylor's Transport. So tell us, what on earth was going through your head when that started happening at the beginning of the first lap? Because most drivers out there would probably be a little bit worried.
Yeah, I just don't know what happened. We just went round 2 together and it just went wrong this time. Sometimes you can get round 2, sometimes it goes wrong.
I'd say that particular corner at Brands Hatch is probably one of the most prolific areas that even the most experienced, skilled of drivers will still manage to come unstuck at some point in the weekend.
Yeah, it's still going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so how are you feeling otherwise? I mean, is this going to cause much issues for the last race of the weekend?
Not for me, but only for teammates to get it fixed.
So they're going to be all hands on deck to get you back on track.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to do it last race.
And how are you finding the season so far as a whole?
Good. Yeah, good experience up to yet again, like usual.
Yeah. So it's glad to have you back. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Mark, we'll let you get the team to get some work. And maybe you just roll your sleeves up and do a bit of polishing. I mean, some of this is your fault, just to let you know.